Fitting it in where you can, considering you are going back to school. What is your schedule like these days?
Well, my college classes are every Tuesday and Thursday, and it takes up my whole day. And then after that, I have homework. So yes, I try to just fit it in whenever I can, because on top of that, I have my child who I can only webcam while my child's at daycare. So that also makes it hard. So I try to fit it in wherever I can. I don't cam as much as I used to, not nearly as much as I used to. And that makes me sad, but that's where making your own videos come in and help to sell it on the side.
Yet transitioning over into your personal life, you mentioned that you have a child and they're going to preschool. So as a fellow single mom, I am curious, like, how you are navigating on top of school and everything else. Like, how do you make it work for yourself? Is it, how are you doing it? And also, how old is your baby?
My baby is 2, so my baby is only in daycare. So baby 2. And I have a 2-bedroom apartment, so I sleep and work in one room, and my baby sleeps in the other room. Yeah. And I have child locks on the doors, so my baby can never come in. But
right.
So my baby goes to daycare 5 days a week. There's no daycares open on the weekends, and on top of that, my parents do help. My parents know what I do for a living, and they help watch my child after daycare extra hours if I need it to work or to do schoolwork. So that's how I do. I can't do it without them. And also webcamming is a huge, huge deal because of the flexibility of the schedule. I would not be able to do college if I was still working those 2 full-time jobs, I tell you. Yeah. Nor would I be able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. So yeah, it's I would say webcamming has made things a lot easier, and I find it very unfortunate that too many people have asked me, what if your child finds out about what you did for a living, this and that? Because I feel like the stigma of it all is just so exaggerated and a lot worse than it needs to be. What I would say to that is, let's say my child does get teased, or I get teased for being found out or whatever. Really, it's their issue for behaving that way. It's not my issue for making a living. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more that is their problem. It is not yours. Even just working on the industry side, I get posed with that question all the time because mine are in elementary school. One just started kindergarten last week, and so I'm constantly asked if like they know what I do, and of course I feel like they're too young at this time, but that's definitely like a conversation that will be had down the road. I think like in our society, those conversations are being avoided far too often, so there are so many stigmas about still to this day in 2017 that exists about our industry. Well, so it sounds like you mentioned that your family knows what you do. How did you sit them down and have a conversation, or did they just find out on their own? How did that go?
Well, I tell my mom everything. So I told my mom first, and then she told my dad. But my dad and I never talk about it, but I talk to my mom all the time. My mom and I have always had a very open relationship, and she, when I was working 2 jobs, I couldn't afford daycare when I was working 2 jobs. I only started to be able to afford daycare because of webcamming. Mm-hmm. So she watched him while I worked those hours. So it came down to when I started webcamming, I'm not going to lie to her and tell her I'm doing something else when I'm not. So I had to tell her the truth out of respect for her because she was going to be the one watching my child while I webcam. So
that'd be a pretty big lie to have to keep up to, right? It's like, let me just make this easier on myself. Tell you
Yeah.
the truth, yeah. I don't know. I just feel like, you know, you're working from home a lot as a cam model, so maybe there could be potential like feelings of isolation if you don't really have anyone to talk to about, like this is what happened today on cam, you know. And I mean, I don't know, perhaps that's why so many people are on like the camgirl forums and whatnot. How do you like keep from going crazy and can like stay motivated? Do you have like a small group of other models that you keep in touch with?
That's a very good question. I do not.
You're like, I'm actually on a really fine thread right now.
I really need to get on that though. But I read articles from about other models. I don't give my own input. This is the first time I'm giving my own input, actually. Cool. But I've been on other forums and I've read what other girls have been through, and I seek advice through there. So those forums help me a lot indirectly, for sure.
Could you tell us more about other projects that you're working on, or any exciting news that you want to share about other things that are happening in your life?
I mean, right now, college is the biggest thing. I'm really excited to be in college. I'm majoring in computer science right now, and that's the route I want to go. I want to write a book on fetishes because there's so many fetishes that came across here. So that's my other goal.
It's beyond 50 Shades at this point. People just don't even know.
Yeah, and I think it's the coolest thing, and that's my other goal, is to write a book on that. But I'm really after the magazine and whatever other shoots I've already done professionally, that's pretty much it. I'm not looking to go back out to LA and shoot some more.
Yeah.
FTV Girls was my biggest run because I dated the producer, so we did lots of shoots on our time together. But other than that, I really have nothing else coming up other than the magazine feature, which is huge. In Beaver Hunt of 2017 of the whole year, which is an amateur section that they recruited me for. They actually came to me on Twitter, found me there, and asked me to feature in their amateur section. And then I went to the finalists, and then I became the winner. So
what did you have to do? Was it just like, were they just looking at your social media content and then they submitted pictures or other types of media?
Yeah, so one of the editors found my social media, thought I was cute, and saw that I was in the industry. So he's asked me to email him and also to answer some questions and submit pictures. So I submitted my own pictures for the magazine, and then, yeah.
You are half Asian, and is it Spanish?
Yes, half Asian, half Spanish, or Hispanic. My dad's really a mutt, so he's the one that's a mutt. My mom's full Asian, so yeah. My dad has some Dominican, some Spaniard, some Egyptian, and some Jamaican. So he's the real mutt. But my mom is full Japanese. So.
Wow. Do you feel like that is particularly fetishized, particular part of your entire aesthetic with customers?
Yeah, I use Asian a lot, and actually, there was a cool on ManyVids. There's a cool survey, and they listed the top searches, and Asian was one of them. So I utilized that.
Yeah. I was just telling this to someone the other day, but I was like, I swear to God, like Asian women are probably the most fetishized like nationality that there is. Like it's,
and I don't know why. I wonder if it's because we're naturally submissive, or if because we're so petite and like cute, but I don't know.
or like that's typically the assumption, right? Is that Asian women are submissive, but I know some of my Asian friends, like they are not submissive at all, or the way that they like at least present themselves.
Portray.
You're right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was very submissive when I first started camming, but over time I learned to become more in control for sure. So I'm not that typical submissive Asian girl I used to be.
Yeah. People just assume that about you whenever they first see you online.
Yeah. Yeah, they do at first. But I do have some other people begging me to be a dominatrix. And I've tried a couple times,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty good when it comes to, like, humiliation. But when it comes to, like, taking full control, I still need practice because I'm not very good at that.
So what is the most, like a lot of the time for camming, you're kind of dancing on that fine line of your own comfort zone. So what do you feel like is probably the most risque or out of the box thing that you have done on cam thus far?
Well, when I very first started webcamming, I did have someone ask, and this was back when I was still living with my roommate.
Uh-huh.
He asked me to go into my roommate's room and, like, I forgot, but he asked me to go grab a pair of her panties. And
okay.
and he just wanted me to do random things. So I grabbed a pair of her panties and showed it to him. But other than that, I didn't do much with it. After that, he had me step outside of the apartment and completely naked, and I did. And but no one saw me. But that would be the riskiest thing I've done.
Did your roommate ever find out, or did you tell her about it later? No.
No, I couldn't. I never told her.
Did you get like the ugliest pair of like period panties? It's like here. I don't know.
He also asked me to masturbate in her bedroom too, and I never told her about that.
Oh, and you did it?
I did.
You did? Oh shoot!
She basically told me to start webcamming.
That's right. There you go. She had it coming. It was going to happen eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So tell me, I guess, as far as it seems like you're just very focused on, your main priorities, which is school and your baby right now. Where do you see this going for you, even a year from now? Where do you see yourself with all of this?
Well, I still see that I will need to do this to support college, room, board, all of that, all the way until I complete my degree and actually get a decent job in that field. But I don't see myself doing anything big. I do. Honestly, I just see myself just being there. This was probably my best peak because I was really involved, but now I'm pulling myself back so I can focus on footwork and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I really first started noticing you through the contests because it's like, who is this girl that is, I mean, a lot of the time, let's be honest, some other models are like, it's always the same people that are like in the top 100 for these contests, and then you as more of a newcomer, really, you were still within your first year.
I'm very pretty unknown. Yeah, I'm not very
well, but then you swooped in, and then you're like killing it. And I think some people are like, what is she doing that is so much different, but yet you're still making it to the top list of these contests. Is there anything that you do differently, especially when it comes to contests, as far as your schedule, putting in more time? What is it that you do, if you don't mind sharing?
I don't think it's about the time I put in. I think it's about strategy. I knew about this thing called Periscope, so I utilized Periscope I didn't talk about the contest per se, because you're not really supposed to advertise that kind of stuff. But I did something like I built my bunk bed. This is half of a bunk bed here, and I actually had it at a full bunk bed at one point, and I built it in my bikini, live on Periscope, and I had like 30,000 viewers in a few hours. And then my Twitter is on my Periscope profile. So when they were asking me a question, I would just say, just go to my profile, Google me, whatever. So I'm not really directly advertising myself. So they would just pop into my Twitter, follow me, and then I had my automatic messages on my Twitter set up to ask them to vote for me in the competition.
Oh, wow.
As people followed me, they would get an automatic message saying, hey, I'm in this contest, please vote for me. So that's how, I'm pretty sure that's how I ended up racking up the votes. So, strategy.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like,
Thanks.
wow, I'm astonished. Because, I think so many people come into this and they don't really know, like, how much potential there is. When it comes to even increasing your viewership and even just taking the time to figure out like, oh, okay, how can I redirect people, but not be like super salesy about it, right?
Right. You don't have to like show your boobs and be like, hey, this is, there's other ways for sure. That's a little more sneaky.
Right. I mean, do you mind if I share all this, or do you want it to be, I mean, I'm just interested in your perspective in general, but if you don't mind like me sharing this with other
I don't mind
people.
at all. Like I said, I'm stepping back from it and I'm not really out here to compete. So so if I can help anyone else to reach the top because this is what they want to do for a living, that's fine. It's just that's great.
Do you consider yourself like a higher ranking model on Streamate?
Per hour, on average, I make between $150 to $200.
Okay.
So, on average, a normal model makes about $30 an hour. So that's huge. And I only know that because, again, the person that I text told me that. Okay. So I do believe I'm a higher ranking model, but I do believe that I'm not. I am not working hard enough to be like the model.
Right. Well, and it sounds like even now having to change up your schedule, it's not so much about the quantity or how long you're on. It really is about the quality and also like, promoting it in advance, right? To get people in your room.
I was so surprised. Because I wasn't online this week, for example. I've only been online on Monday, and it was only for 4 hours. But actually, not even 4 hours. I was only online for 2 hours, and I made over $400 in that 2 hours. And I was surprised because I wasn't online the whole week previous.
Yeah.
And that would normally lower you and put you to the bottom, but it didn't because I have lots of very loyal customers, and I was so happy and so thankful for them. Very much.
So you feel like a lot of people that maybe see you on Streamate, they are also following you on social media and whatever, and that's how they know, and that's how they keep in the pulse of when to expect you online and all of that, right?
Yeah, a lot of people let me know. They're like, hey, I saw on your Twitter that you started school. That's awesome. I completely understand and stuff like that. So it's good to let them in, at least a peek into your life, to let them know you're not just a robot, that you have a life and things get hectic, and but that you appreciate their support and that you're still there. So that's important.
Right. Well, I am absolutely blown away with everything that you're doing. I did not even realize that you were almost only a year into camping on Streamate until I let me look up her profile. And yeah, I saw like the date that you had created the account, and I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to know, and I had to get your perspective. If anything, I'm hoping that this will also help some of the models because, especially as a newcomer, it can be super intimidating, right? To see other people why am I not on the first page, or what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm behind the curve. So if they can at least take something away from this and feel optimistic and you can do this.
I want to, in that note, I would love to give few basic tips for beginner models. When you first start out, how much you are online does matter. I mean, I've been lazy and I haven't been online as much as I normally would, but in the beginning, I was online all the time for like 10 hours a day. And I'm not saying you have to be online 10 hours a day, but be consistent and to have a schedule to build a following. I have on Streamate, I think, over 15,000 followers. And I'm pretty sure that's the reason why, even though I took a week off, it didn't affect me.
Right.
And but if I was still a beginner and I took a week off, yes, that would have affected me. So if you're a beginner, you have to be on it because this is a job and it's not easy money as most people would think. So that's important. And second, I would say value yourself. It's very hard when you first start. Like when I was trying to help my coworker, who it didn't work out for that I mentioned, she kept asking me like, how much can I set my price point? I don't want to, ask for too much. I don't want to be, overselling myself and stuff like that. That's very dangerous to think that way because that's how the people that aren't so nice take advantage of you. So it's important to value yourself and know that your body is valuable. What you're giving to the people that are viewing you, talking to you, is priceless. It is. Not everyone has someone in their life they can talk to or they can touch or see or interact with or to be freely intimate with. So that's important.
Well, Melody, real quick, would you give us some plugs on where everybody can find you?
Sure, yeah. You can find me on sweetxmelody.cammodels.com. That's my only cam site. I don't cam anywhere else. That's my home, my cam home. And then Twitter is @MelodyWylde, WYLDE. And then my ManyVids is sweetxmelody.manyvids.com. There you go.
Awesome. Melody, this has been so insightful, and I'm so thrilled to have gotten the opportunity to talk to you because I have been very curious just watching you online and your activity. Not to creep you out or anything, hopefully, but it's like I want to know more, and I feel like everything that you said can definitely help other people, especially the newcomers out there that are hoping to do just as well as you're doing right now. So I appreciate you so much for sharing everything, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.